welcome to another video with me, Bailey. I am a clairvoyant, psychic medium and spiritual healer based in New Zealand, and today's video is going to be on a type of oracle message and something that I've been dreaming of for the past few weeks and also months. And it's taken me a while to sort of allow the message to come through and to formulate it properly and then to have my own experience with the message. And this message, this oracle message, is on psychic warfare that is currently taking place and will continue to take place. And it is in the form of witch warfare. So I'm not talking about people who had past life as witches. I'm not talking about green witches or good witches or anything of the sort on the earth realm. I'm talking about stuff that is going on in the psychic realms, and the witches brew and the poison of the witches brew and the witches poison. And while I was receiving these messages, I got drawn into watching Snow White because I started thinking about Snow White and then the queen energy, which is something that's been really predominant as well. That sort of women's need to call themselves a queen, and using titles to empower themselves with sisterhood. Which seems to me is very egoic, because if you're really embodied as a female, you wouldn't need any types of titles or the need to call yourself that a queen per se. So yes, I got really drawn into watching Snow White, and you should go watch Snow White, the original one. I think it was done in 1940 something. I think Snow White, and then the archetype of the divine feminine, and then which is Snow White, and then the witch, and how the witch hunted down Snow White. And then in the movie, I'm going to try and put a clip of it somewhere in here. The witch, the queen, who turned herself into a witch with black magic. She actually had in the movie this whole entire bookcase of black magic spells. And let me just pause. So I've got the image up of the books that were in Snow White right in front of me. So this is similar to what the my video with Beware the False Prophets. So in this, and stuff came through about the Bible, and in the Bible there was stuff about the Jezebel spirit, and in the Snow White movie, and here the witch's bookcase, she's got titles here: black arts, alchemy, witchcraft, black magic, disguises, sorcery, and poison. And the stuff that I was dreaming of, I dreamed of the witch's hat coming upon me and me turning. It was insane, and I was like, that's psychic warfare. I dreamt of the Witches Brew, and she was, and me and a bunch of other people were like, oh my gosh, she's trying to poison us. We have to get out of here. It was men and women. This wasn't just a woman versus woman thing. And we were trying to get out of, and we were like, wow, she's trying to poison us. It was sort of like Hansel and Gretel. The symbology of it a little bit, you know how they go to the witch's house and they end up trying to get eaten, and a group of people of us, we were in this house with this, and she's, oh my god, she's trapped us, and we were trying to escape from the witch's poison. So she had this massive cauldron, and she had food and all this stuff in it, and she was stirring it around. And it was just really interesting, because after I had that dream, I'd left a comment on someone else's video like 5 months ago about something. And this other woman had commented on it, oh, blaming the woman. This is how witch hunts begin. And then I was like, oh my god. And then I deleted all my comments from that video. Because I was like, oh my god, it's witch warfare. Like just the timing of it, and everything in the comments on that video was turning against each other. And I was like, whoa, I am getting out of here. So I deleted all my comments, and I've been very, very mindful about what conversations I'm getting into, and being discerning about where other people are coming from, and if I want to be a part of that right now. I think for the foreseeable future, it's very, very wise to have some very strict boundaries with what you're engaging in, and if you want to be a part of that conflict or ego collapse or breakdown, or I think I dreamt of this one for a while too, ego battles, that even spiritual community ego battles is just not worth it. And okay, so the Witches Brew happens, and it came through as a witch's hat, and the Witches Brew, drinking the poison, greed, envy, jealousy, and comparison. So if you start feeling those things within you, and you're not normally that type of person, it can be very easily bred through social media, really easily. You can see something and then just feel envy or jealousy, and you don't know why. So a lot of stuff online and social media, the airways are used. It is what it is. I've dreamt of that many times. So you have to be really discerning with what you're ingesting online and reading, and if you want to be a part of that, and if that's something for you. And lots of dreams also of just getting back into the real world and living life. And staying right away from stuff that's playing out that you don't want to be a part of. And you do have the choice to walk away from situations, people, and places that you don't need, that are making you uncomfortable, or there's really high conflict. There's a lot of stuff breaking down for a lot of people. Yeah, so Witches Brew, greed, envy, jealousy, and comparison. And this isn't, as I said, it's not just for women. This is for women and men. And you're looking, if you all of a sudden find yourself looking at someone, side eye, you're like, wait a minute. Like, just catch yourself and be like, wait a minute, this isn't me. I am not playing a part in this weird psychic witch warfare that's being created. No, thank you. So just watch yourself. It's another part of spiritual initiation. And also, just because you're feeling something, it doesn't mean that it's yours. You could also get pulled into someone else's jealousy. Someone else could be projecting their jealousy onto you and making you, pulled you into some type of war that you don't want to be a part of. And also being respectful of others' experiences and letting them have their experiences and what they're going through, or the ego collapse or the conflicts. That's their journey. And as I said, you are 100% allowed to choose for yourself what you do and do not want to have or experience. And also just quickly touching on creating your own energy line. So I said this in the Q&A video that I did, and that is being really, really clear, especially with a little bit of psychic witch warfare that is based on greed, envy, jealousy, and comparison. Just ask yourself, is this me? Am I this type of person? And no, I'm not. And just no, thank you. As in creating your own energy line, you have to be really, really clear and firm about what you want to experience in your life. And you have to remember that your energy and what you're embodying is yours to create with. So you can remove yourself from situations, people, places, jobs that you really don't like, and you can go and create something more in alignment that's going to bring you more happiness, joy, and abundance from the spirit. But you also, in order to create that energy line, you need to have really clear yeses and nos from inside of you and know what you want. If you're not quite sure what you want, spend some time outside and just do some self-inquiry. What do I want to experience in my life? I certainly do not want to experience witch warfare or be around people that are creating that type of conflict right now. And you can get very easily pulled into something that literally just has nothing to do with you. Then all of a sudden you're being made a part of something that just is not, you never needed to be a part of. So very clear yeses and nos about what you're wanting, your energy, your choice. But just watch it. Watch what you're feeling and responding to and why you're responding that way. Also, talked about the witch's hat. And I experienced a type of overwhelm, a psychic overwhelm recently, where I was struggling to, I was in a very high conflict environment, and I was struggling, I could feel a bombardment of someone else's negativity coming into my energy field, and they were fixated on me. So I'm very psychically aware, obviously working as a psychic and a spiritual healer, and I have been through a lot of situations where I have been almost drowned in someone else's negativity, and it's created a lot of psychic havoc. So a lot of people don't talk about the need for psychic boundaries and the need for a spiritual backbone, and knowing that you have a right to say yes and no to what's coming into your energy field. And if you're in the physical realm and there's a lot of high conflict, or you've just been on media and you've ingested a lot of icky energies, or your mind is going a little haywire, or you feel energies coming in from outside of you that are not your natural state of joy and happiness, and I know where I'm going. And sometimes what happens, you can be around people and know what you're doing, then all of a sudden you're in this environment and you have no idea what you're doing because there's no clarity in anyone's energy field, and you may be feeling the chaos and confusion from others. So in my case, what happened was I just started to get really, really overwhelmed, and then I had this dream: move above the energies around you. And I was like, whoa, okay. And then what came through to me was, and I could feel these energies coming in, and I just stood up and I put my hands up and I said, back up. And if you don't have time to do a meditation, if you don't have time to clear your energy field, I would highly recommend, this is just really easy to do before bed, just stand up and create your force field, your energy, and put your hands out and just say back up really, really firmly. When it comes to psychic energies, you want to use firmness, and this is my energy field, and this energy does not have a right to be here. So you stand, you say back up, back off, this is my energy field, and you should feel the release and the pressure leave. You really need to sometimes stand and own your life force and your space and say, this is my space, not yours. And usually a lot of the times with people who aren't aware of psychic energies and their own life force, they're not aware of others' energies and other life force, and don't know how to be respectful of another's space, and that's okay. But we do not also need to be bombarded by someone else's energies that they are not aware of. So you can stand and say back up and back off. This is my field. It was really empowering for me, and I felt the energies leaving. It was very simple and it was great. You don't need to spend 10 minutes clearing your field every day unless, there are ways in which you can exist on the earth and not be bombarded by negativity. You just got to have a little bit of common sense and a little bit of a backbone. Okay, thank you for that. That was the Oracle message of Witch Warfare. Thank you very much for watching. I'm also just going to add a teeny bit more about what I said at the beginning of this video to do with the false queen and the archetype of the divine feminine via Snow White. If you're really into the divine feminine, or you want to understand a little bit more about the divine feminine energy and the false queen archetype, or the queen, the black magic queen that is a type of false construct of the divine feminine, or the embodiment of woman. And I talk a lot about this on this channel, about the New Age goddess, if you want to go watch that video, and knowing what females are channeling what, and knowing the divine feminine and woman in an organic, natural, spiritual way, as opposed to a type of costume, but also the false queen energy can work through women who embody very little spirit. So yeah, the Snow White archetype, and then the false queen archetype, and the divine feminine, and then the false queen, the black magic, the shape shifting, the the costumes and the trickery and the disguises. That's a really big thing with the false queen energy. I talk about this in Black Magic Half Station and Masculine Initiation. I'll link the video, I think that's what it's called. And I talk a lot about how, and then also my earlier videos to do with psychic initiations and the divine masculine. As men have to know the difference between the false queen archetype or the black magic almost emanation of the divine feminine, and then know the true divine feminine. And the movie Snow White is a really good example of those two very different expressions of feminine energy on the earth. And that's a part and parcel of maturing into more spiritual maturity and discernment. And knowing the difference in women as well, for women and for men, and choosing what females you're listening to and what females you're going to allow yourself to be guided by. The divine feminine empowers and loves men, and the false queen will harvest and manipulate and deceive and disguise herself through women on the earth realm. So you've got women who will channel the divine feminine, and then you've got women that will embody and channel something else. I talk about this a lot on my channel in spiritual discernment and spiritual maturity. Thank you so much for watching.